everyone, it's Andrea, and welcome to this edition of Talks in the Car. Have you ever been in a place where you needed to make a decision, but for whatever the reason is, it was difficult getting there? You knew you had to do it, you knew some changes had to be made, you knew you had to do something, but for whatever the reason was, you had a difficult time actually doing it. You had a difficult time walking away from that relationship. You had a difficult time applying for that job. You had a difficult time starting that task. That has happened to all of us. It's happened to the best of us, where we know we're supposed to move. We know we have to make a concrete decision. We know we have to say that yes. We have to say that no. We have to walk away from that person, that circumstances. But we continue to drag our feet. We continue to stall. We continue to procrastinate. Oftentimes, the blessing that God has for us is beyond that step. In other words, once we decide that we are going to make that decision to actually do what God has called us to do, that's when the door of blessing will be open for us. That's when the prayers that we've been praying, the manifestation will come through. That's when the things that we are desiring from the Lord, the answers that we are seeking from God, that's when they'll come. But they come when we make the decision to move upon the things that we know we're supposed to do. I have found myself in a place where there is a decision that I know that I need to make, but I have found it difficult to move simply because the decision to move is uncomfortable. The decision to move is not something that on my own I really want to do. I want to stay in that state. I'm comfortable where I'm at, but I also know that in order to move forward in God, in order to receive the prayers that I've been praying, in order to see the manifestation of God, I have to not just make the decision, but move in that decision, to move forward, to walk away from certain things, to stop certain things, and to make a firm plan to move ahead in what God has for me, to walk away from what's not the best for me, but to move into a place where God can do the work, where God can work the miracle because I made the steps, because I actively moved. And so I encourage you today that if you are in that place where moving is difficult, where you're procrastinating in moving, where you find yourself in a place like, God, I know that I'm supposed to do this. I know I'm supposed to walk away from that. I know I'm not supposed to be where I am right now. If you're in that place where it's difficult to move, I encourage you to seek God and ask God for the strength to walk away, for the strength to move forward, for the strength to put aside that weight, for the strength to do what you know God is calling you to do. Because once you make that decision, once you make that move, once you take that step to move to where God is calling you, or to move away from that place where God doesn't want you to be, that's where your blessing is. It's as if the key to that door, that key to open the door, that place where God wants you to be is being blocked because your back is up against the wall. Your back is up against that door. Your back is not allowing you to move and to be where God is calling you to be. And it's not God's fault. It's not anybody else's fault. That one comes on us. Sometimes our blocked blessings aren't about anything but us. We are our worst enemy. We are the ones that are causing the delay. We are the ones that are causing the blockage. And so I encourage you, If God is telling you to move away, if God is telling you to go towards something, if God is giving you some strategic and some deliberate direction, I encourage you, do what you have to do to move past yourself, to move past yourself so you can be in alignment with where God wants you to be. It's not an easy task. Moving from our comfort zone to where God wants us is not easy. It takes strength. It takes God. It takes determination. It takes a made-up mind. It takes us being deliberate. But all of that it takes, all of the strength that we have in order to get there is worth it. Because what's beyond the door, what's beyond the veil is what God has for you, is what God has for me. And so instead of being in a place where we are not receiving and not being able to walk in what God has for us, wouldn't you want to be in that place where God's perfect gift for us, where God's perfect work for us is in place? Don't allow yourself to be what keeps you from what God has from you. Fight through, push through, pray through, read through, sing through. Whatever you have to do to get through so that you receive what God has for you, so that you have what God has for you, so that you will no longer be in a state of limbo. You will no longer be in a place where you're unsatisfied in your spirit, because now you are at the place that God has ordained for you. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next time on Talks in the Car.